Welcome everybody to another day of the WPC Dota 2 action. I'm joined by Andrew. He's going to get his taste of some good old Chinese Dota. Well, at least one of the two teams is Chinese. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well, getting used to our new sleep schedule here. So I spent the better part of my day trying to adjust my sleep schedule, but feeling chipper, pumped to get into some Titan versus HGT action.
Yeah, HGT, I'm just sort of briefing you a bit before the game. Zenith MJ, the big name on this team, the legendary carry player. He's now playing support, though, so he's put away the carry shoes, no longer playing the Medusas, no longer playing the Phantom Lancers. He's on support. But Titan, they're kind of your top dogs coming in from Southeast Asia, so this is really a big test of how they compete against China, which is a much more established scene.
Yeah, I got to cast Titan, was it in the MPGL, I think, when I did that long cast about a month ago, 3 weeks ago. So I've gotten my taste of Titan. They're kind of an interesting team you were mentioning earlier. They've been having some consistency issues recently.
Yes, I mean they're meant to be the best team in Southeast Asia, but they're not playing like it. That to me just sums them up. This is a team that got third place at the international last year, minus Mushi plus Yamate, which in theory is a bit of a loss to them. Yamate, a fantastic player in his own right, but filling the shoes of Mushi is definitely a big ask. But like, you look at that and you think, okay, they're not going to be as strong as they were last year, but they should still easily be the best team in Southeast Asia, and they should still be able to compete with the Chinese teams. But so far, it just hasn't really happened.
Yeah, so do we have like a grid here? Can we look at the standings so far, or is that not part of our overlay package here?
We may not.
Or is this the premiere for both these teams? I'm not exactly sure how.
Titans played a number of games.
Okay.
Let me see what happens if I put this up. We have a grid.
Oh.
It's quite small. Let me make that bigger for us. We're squinting our eyes so we can actually see this one. So Titan are 3-1. I cast their first day. They had 1-2-0 victory and one. It's a best of 2 format, so you only play 2 games against every team. And they had a 1-1 draw. The 1-1 draw was against Orenda, who's a kind of amateur team. And I say amateur team, but here they are competing with the top dogs.
Right.
They came through an open qualifier, and now they're versing like DK, IG, Titan, which is a pretty cool thing to do. As for HGT, this is their first match.
Oh, okay. Very interesting.
So, still early days in WPC. WPC, a huge event too. $250,000 US dollars in prize money over a long period of time. There's going to be a Western qualifier, Alliance, Fnatic, Cloud9, I think Empire, and one other team, and Sigma. We're going to play for the Western qualifier.
Oh, wow.
You miss out on that. That's when you're away. That's when you're at PAX.
Oh, really? That whole there's what is it, like a mini bracket to see who goes through?
Yes, there's like April 10 to 12, which is like the exact days you're away.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, that sucks for you. But there's 5 teams will play. I think it's just a round robin, and the top 2 teams will go to China.
Oh, okay.
So the top 2 teams will be in the top 8 and will be like guaranteed like a good chunk of prize money.
Wow, that's exciting. That adds a nice little bit of flair into this all Chinese tournament or all Asian tournament, having some of the Westerners mixed in. That's pretty fun.
It's always like they've always kind of brought in the Southeast Asian teams in the past, like especially Orange, and now Titan, obviously, since that pretty much is Orange. But Titan and Orange will be playing again this season, and bring in the Western teams.
Yeah, awesome.
Everyone loves the kind of East versus West storylines.
Yes. Well, I mean, you just get to see them on LAN so infrequently, and ping issues are such a real issue when playing online that it just adds for an interesting dynamic that we don't get a taste of too often. Everyone's hungry for it, but we rarely get that satisfaction. So
we'll be getting ourselves into the game. It looks like the game is now loading up, guys, but we've got some pretty sick WPC production, which is always fun to watch.
Yeah, it always blows my mind when we see these other organizations with just top-notch production.
It's cool we have Roland, our intern, here, because he actually speaks Chinese, so we can understand a lot of what they're saying half the time. So I always sound really informed. I'll be like, oh, the Chinese commentators they were talking about this, and like they were calling like black they call little B, like Xiao B, which is basically it translates to little B because he's like the little burning. He loves to farm, and like getting all these little tidbits out of him. So
that's good.
Most of the time they're just talking about the players' appearances. Like they found it funny that Ohio looks like he's the oldest of the team, but Ohio's only like 19, and Extinct looks like he's the youngest, but he's actually like 26 or 27.
Oh, I see.
Extinct's an old man. He's LD's age. He's been around the Dota scene for a long time.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the players in their team garb. We don't get a big taste of that either in the Western scene. It's cool just to see the different jersey designs and how they carry themselves on camera in the booths and stuff.
I've said this like every time. I love the Titan jerseys. I mean, you like the logo. I think the logo's really cool.
I thought it was a cool logo. I don't know if, looking at it, I don't know if I would say, oh, Titan. That's not the word that comes to mind straight away, but it's a pretty cool little design.
It's not meant to even look like a T, really. It's just meant to be like a little niche graphic thing that they've done. But yeah, no, I think it's one of those things where like this organization only was established 6 months ago now. But I know the guy who runs it and in charge of it. And he's in it for the long haul. He wants to make like the next big esports brand. He wants to be the next EG basically.
Okay.
Except obviously bigger and do things differently to EG.
Yeah.
That's my words, not his. He had some harsh words to say about EG.
Big shoes to fill.
No, he wants to be the next big esports organization, and Titan. Potentially on their way. They've got one of the top CS:GO teams, the French team, and then they've got the Dota team now as well as like Quake Live Plays and stuff. So
awesome,
becoming a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. Hyper Glory team. That's going to take me a little while to get used to. I have casted HGT at least once or twice because Hearts Get Together comes to mind straight away, and of course that is now incorrect. They are the Hyper Glory team.
Yes.
Do my best just to say HGT so that I'm right on all accounts.
Yeah, that works. There was so many like good different like little puns and like spin-offs on Hearts Get Together. Like they were fighting for the glory of love, and like you could just like there was so much fun you could do with that. But now it's like Hyper Glory team. It's I don't know. Even the name has some like just negative connotations.
It's
like,
just
they're all
too
about
much
the
glory. Yeah.
I don't like the word glory in there.
Nothing but glory.
Not just glory, hyper glory.
Yeah, it is kind of an odd.
Regular glory is not enough for them.
Yeah.
But everything about this team, I mean, the entire time I've seen the Chinese stream about this team, they're always showing ZSMJ. This is the only player they care about him.
He has a very distinctive look. He looks very like very dedicated, very intense. He's got a very like I wouldn't want to be his competitor kind of look about him. You know, like his eyes are just cutting through your soul.
I can see that. Yeah. Definitely someone to be feared.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how he puts his team together. He is the captain, so he was playing on Tongfu for a while when he basically kind of retired / disappeared after the Dota 1 scene, then came back, made a comeback in Dota 2 with Tongfu, where he did okay. He was playing support. He wasn't actually the captain for the team, but now he's the captain of this newly put together team and facing off against Titan. You'll notice some familiar draft overlays, by the way.
Yeah, it looks good.
Wonder where they got the idea for that one from.
Yeah. But not a bad little bit of statistics, though. So I guess all these players are on LAN, so we don't have any delay here. That's one of the little perks of casting WPC, huh?
I like WPC because I look at the stream chat or I say something. Yeah. I say something stupid and I'm like, I wonder what the stream chat's going to reply.
Instant.
It's like 20 seconds, but yeah. Well, maybe not even 20 seconds, about 15 seconds.
Relatively instant compared to the 2-minute delay that I've become accustomed to, so that's That's pretty fun. So what would you say are the biggest differences in the Chinese meta versus the Western meta right now? Like first pick, first ban wise?
Similarly, they Lycan and Invoker are probably the two biggest picks. The one hero which I think they prioritize a lot more is Shadow Shaman.
Okay.
Which is starting to pick up more in the Western scene.
Yeah.
But not so much. Alchemist by some teams is top priority. Looking at like Newbie, Vici Gaming, those being and even LGD, they really like Alchemist still, like as a solo mid especially. There's less of these kind of greedy Midas mid heroes, like you not see like Naga Siren is not really a thing.
Okay.
More like you don't get your Morphling and your Shadow Fiends mid as much. So
okay.
There's less kind of greedy playstyle in that sense.
Interesting.
But well, I don't know. Apart from that, some teams, like each team has a different playstyle as well. I don't think you can compare. Like even looking at the Western scene, you've got like your EG playstyle, then you've got your Empire playstyle, you've got your Na'Vi playstyle. Like everyone's picking and playing different stuff, even within each scene.
True. Very true.
But Lycan's the one agreed upon thing. This hero,
Lycan is the one hero that transcends all metas, all strategies. You can't ignore the Lycan. Oh man!
It actually started in the Eastern scene, at least this patch, because at the start of this patch, it wasn't being picked that much by the Western teams until I think a few caught on that. Oh, the Chinese teams are picking this every game. Like, what's the deal? And they're like, oh, it's really fucking strong.
Yeah. Oh wait, they're actually onto something here.
Yeah.
So I see Titan. They'll go ahead and first pick their Centaur.
Yep. Yeah.
And he's been pretty popular. Most teams have been loving the Centaur. We even saw him banned out a little bit in the Star Ladder America finals. So. Or playoffs, or rather.
against Liquid like to that to me is where you can't like compare the scenes as a whole. Like a team like Liquid love their Centaur. Titan's the same thing. Ohio played Centaur in I think 3 of the 4 games on their opening day.
Okay.
So they really like this Centaur pick.
Yeah, well, that global presence, Stampede comes in handy more often than it doesn't.
The other hero they really like is the Sand King, which HGT get for themselves. Net, he spends more time in the tree than anywhere else, and not making a joke to the free-to-play movie. This guy will just lurk around in trees. Like he spent, if it was a pub game, he would have gotten abandoned for how long he was not getting experience. Like he was not even exaggerating. He was just camping in trees for about from like the 20-minute mark to the 40-minute mark. He spent maybe 3 to 4 minutes of that not in like hiding somewhere.
Just waiting, hoping someone may walk by and take a bro strike to the face. That's
I mean, once he has his blink dagger, he's like, okay, let's just hope. And he always does it like on the other side of the map. So he'll be like on the Radiant side, and he's like above the tier 2 top tower in trees, or to the right side of the bottom tier 2 tower, and just hiding in all kinds of weird, like just sneaky little spots of his.
That's interesting. To me, that screams a Techies player at heart.
Yeah, possibly.
Wow.
He definitely had that. Let's catch people by surprise kind of mentality to him. But
yeah.
The other thing, just to let you know, we have the Chinese stream up, so I got in the bad habit of just calling picks as I saw them, realizing that I'm kind of spoiling it for the stream.
Oh, right, yeah, because we're on their stream delay, then,
it's like 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's not bad, but still, there's...
No. For a while, I was using it to make myself sound really smart, like I knew what heroes going to be picked. I'd be like, I think Titan are going to pick this hero. Oh, what do you know?
Rubik. That wouldn't be a bad ban here. That's
I think Titan really want to ban out a Weaver.
Yeah.
Definitely be the ban I would take out here.
Not not too bad. No. He can be irritating, but yeah, I see they also like the Ancient Apparition, and I can't say I'm too surprised. He's another hero that's kind of transcended the metas as well. Some teams prefer him more than others, but not surprised to see him first picked here either.
Yep.
Right, Rubik Enchantress and Spectre. Weaver. Yeah, predicting picks and bans it's so team-based. It feels so easy when you're watching the same teams over and over, and then you get thrown into, okay, HGT versus Titan. Oh, yeah, I casted those teams once or twice. I'm looking at these picks just kind of like, they could really go for anything here. I have absolutely no idea what's in the head of this drafter.
We're all about getting you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
That was me because when we started casting, we're mostly doing the Asian stuff, like Chinese tournaments and Southeast Asian tournaments. But
yeah,
well, we started watching and casting all Dota now, and there we go. Hyper Glory team, they go for the Morphling pick, so it is something we've seen a few teams run. Generally, like if you look towards your teams like Cloud9 as well as Team EG, they generally run it mid lane just because they feel like it takes so much to shut down a mid hero that it's worth it to create space for the rest of your team. There was a nice Arteezy interview on Team Liquid where he kind of explained the rationale behind putting Shadow Fiend, Morphling, and Naga Sirens mid. And the basic premise is that, sure, you can get slowed down and shut down, but it takes more effort to shut down a carry here in the mid lane as far as blocking, warding his camps, his neutral camps, that it creates so much space for your farmers in the side lanes. And these heroes like Morphling, Shadow Fiend, they catch up so fast that it doesn't matter if their early game isn't that good.
Ah, okay. And that's really where they differ compared to a traditional hard carry. Like your anti-mage, he'll suffer in the mid-game if his Battle Fury is horribly delayed or he's constantly ganked, but there isn't that same pressure on more of a Midas carry hero because, well, one, Midas is easier to farm up, and two, they just have better flash farming skills. So it's interesting. It makes sense, though.
We'll see what Titan look to do here. They're 3-1 right now. I think they're like second place we saw on the grid, but so many of those top Chinese teams haven't even like played any matches yet.
Right.
IG, DK, I think both yet to play any games. Ice actually streaming at the moment. He's back in Singapore for a period of time. But,
okay.
He'll be back. I think DK's first match is in 2 days' time. They're actually going to be facing Titan.
Okay.
Yeah. Since Titan go over from Malaysia, they basically cram pack all their matches into like a 1 week time span, so they don't have to be in China for like the full 2 months. Because this group stage goes for like 2 months, I think, roughly, maybe even longer than that.
Okay.
This whole WPC season lasts all the way up until TI.
Wow, 100% lose rate with the Morphling.
That's brutal.
Zero. I mean, it's only 0 and 3, but still, it's the way they have that information. It's like trying to make it positive. So 100%, that he loses. It's an interesting graphic.
I feel like it's hard to look at stats for a single tournament because so much depends on like the team matchups. Like if it was like a weak team versus a top team, like I don't think that reflects on Morphling.
Yeah, it's a little bit useful like at the end of kind of the group stage before you go off to a playoffs or something. Then you get to see, okay, how was Morphling relative to kind of the meta in this tournament? But yeah,
I think it's useful also when like all teams are on a similar skill level. Like if you look at these tournaments where they have like a round robin format where you've got like 8 of the best teams who are all like similar level, like. But once you start getting like 16 teams and you have a clear top 4 to 5 and then a clear bottom 4 or 5, that's where the stats get skewed more.
Yeah, you're right. Heroes that. It just depends on the matchups. It can definitely skew stuff a bit. So, all right, Disruptor, the third choice for Titan to go. There's Shadow Shaman and Centaur. I do really like the Disruptor Shadow Shaman pairing together because it's sort of like a Shadow Shaman Ancient Apparition. They both make up for what the other one lacks, where Disruptor has that positioning tool. He's got a nice AoE silence, kinetic field, kind of partial disables, but not quite. Then you've got Shadow Shaman there with the shackles as well as the hex, and they work well together. Shadow Shaman is good for pushing and defending, and Disruptor, he synergizes well with that kind of pushing strat, because if the other team tries to retreat at all, anytime they go on the back foot, you better believe Glimpse will be coming out and making your life a little more difficult.
The ulti just generally, like, really nice against Sand King, Morphling as well, if you can catch him out in that being a big AoE silence, so...
Yeah.
HGT pick up the Darkseer after the Disruptor pick, and Disruptor is one of the supports that does pretty good at shutting down a Darkseer offlane. Not to say that you shouldn't pick a Darkseer. I think it's still a good hero. EG would be like first picking this hero because of how well Universe plays it, but
yeah,
we'll see. XDT used to be the offlane player for Tongfu, so if he's still playing offlane, he'll be on the Darkseer, but I'm not entirely sure what Hyperglory team are looking for as far as their lanes and roles go. ZSMJ was listed as a support, so I think he's still on the support role, and we'll figure it out as we get ourselves out of the draft.
Yeah, Darkseer and Morphling on the same team is sort of interesting to see right now, because those are two heroes that, in my mind, have just kind of completely fallen off. Morphling had that little resurgence, but he still is... He seems to really shine in that mid-role, like you were talking about. Mostly, for me, just anecdotally, from watching EG and the teams that try and run him in that more position 1, kind of safe lane, tri-lane sort of carry. It just doesn't work as well. He needs that kind of solo role, but it appears that HGT may actually put him in a safe lane as they go with that. Oops! Oh God!
Well, don't say it.
they go with they could go with an interesting pick here.
That might be going towards the mid lane.
Yeah.
Now we get our little demonic triangles coming out. These 3 heroes together have an 80. That's actually a decent sample size. Normally, my main issue with these stats is like sometimes it'll be like 50% or 100%. There's like only 1 or 2 games where all 3 heroes have been picked up in the same team. Like the sample size for some of these combos is just way too small.
Yeah, that's it's an interesting grouping of heroes, but it will be the Alchemist final pick for HGT. So an interesting draft.
Yeah, I like this. I think both teams have good drafts. Titan actually, whoa, this last pick, that came out. The Clinks I like. They've actually ranked Clinks a couple of times on their opening day. Yamate playing it as a safe lane farmer. And that's pretty standard. But this last pick of theirs, something we have not seen in the meta game since like MLG Columbus, where it was a top pick, and we saw Arteezy playing him all the time, and we saw all the teams playing this hero. But it's suddenly been brought back by Titan. They're feeling it. It's a carry here that deals well with the Morphling as well, and you guys will see it in just a second. I hope. I want to just say what it is. There we go. What's your thoughts on the OD?
World Devourer. You know, I have seen him so little recently, and it seems part of the reason he fell off is because he was getting run over by really aggressive teams that wanted to gank early on, teams looking to knock down towers, and he just provides pretty much nothing when it comes to defending pushes before he has those core items. Even once he gets that first 4 staff or mech, whatever it is, he needs to go some kind of a survivability tool. And even though OD really gets insane after he gets 2, 3, 4 items under his belt, getting there is such a struggle. He doesn't have that great of farming tools, even though he has great lane presence. So I'll be curious to see how this works. Against a Morphling Alchemist Darkseer, that's... I don't know, that's a team that'll want a lot of farm before they really come online, so maybe a good opportunity to grab the OD. Not quite as susceptible to those early ganks, but you know, he'll have to be careful. These rotations from Sand King could definitely be a little bit rough for the OD.
Yeah, I like the OD against like Morphling, just having having the orb and just generally being able to take his intelligence. Morphling very, very mana dependent. And in looking towards the mid lane, like Alchemist against OD, not a fun matchup as well for your Alchemist. So we'll see how things work out here. We'll introduce our two teams. Starting over on the Dire side, it is going to be Team Hyperglory Team HGT. We've got ZSMJ, his new squad. He's going to be playing the Sank, and we've got Pretty Whore on the Ancient Apparition. We've got XTT. He's going to be actually playing the carry role now. Former offlane player for Tongfu. He's playing the Morphling. 1-2-1, going to be playing the Alchemist in the mid lane. Then finally, it's Kaka playing the Darkseer offlane.
And on the Radiant side, we've got Team Titan. It will be NWP, a.k.a. Yamate, on the Clinks. It'll be X playing on the Disruptor. And down bottom, we'll have Net playing on the Shadow Shaman. In the mid lane, it will be KYXY on the Outworld Devourer. And here in the off lane, it will be Ohio on the Centaur Warrunner.
Yeah, one of Ohio's strongest heroes as of late. And he plays this like he's a very kind of farm, like he doesn't need the farm on his Centaur. He will get like a Blink Dagger and then he just leaves his supports. Like heroes like Shadow Shaman can benefit more from farm than the Centaur. So he'll actually like just roam around the map and never see like another creep kill after his Blink Dagger. But
interesting.
To start things off, ZSMJ gets a nice D-ward. He actually D-warded the Titan Observer ward at the mid lane. So that's some vision denied from Titan. That's actually their rune vision as well. So they've only got the one observer at bottom lane now.
Yeah, just slightly out of rune vision like you mentioned. So that is a pretty big win out of the gate. Kaka should be able to hold his own on that Darkseer in the off lane. And already it looks like Centaur pulling a rotation, struggling a bit in the off lane. We'll just rotate mid. And 1-2-1 doesn't seem to be privy to it. And we finally see a ping coming out, and he'll recognize just in the nick of time. Oh, KYXY trying to set it up, but only level 1 Astral Imprisonment. Won't be able to get there in time.
I think just realizing he can't do anything top, he says, well, there's a chance I can help mid, maybe get a kill, and even if I don't get a kill, it pressures the Alchemist. But Alchemist has actually rushed a bottle here, so he's already got that out for himself, and this will help just sustain himself in the mid lane. Meanwhile, Darkseer actually dewarded the other Titan Observer ward, so both of Titan's obs have been dewarded. This is something like even very rarely seen where both your starting obs gets dewarded in a pro game.
Yeah, and that is just crippling. I mean, they're completely blind on the map right now, at least right out of the gate. So luckily for OD, he'll have a Centaur kind of backing him up here in the mid lane, at least hanging out nearby in case they pull a rotation and try and gank him. So that's making up for the lack of wards right now. We see him trying to scout out the rune spawn as well at the 2-minute mark. So I like this support from Titan, but still just so unfortunate to get the game started this way.
Yeah, Ohio likes to do this. He'll basically turn himself into a human observer ward, not to mention he's a smoke detector. So if you try and smoke gank mid, avoid observer wards, well, that's where the Centaur comes in. He's standing there, reveals your smoke from the high ground, and smoke gank fails. And this is just because he can't lane at all top. This Morphling tri-lane can straight up kill him no matter what. So he needs to almost just rotate into his own jungle here. He hasn't got a stout shield, he hasn't got any points in return, so it's a bit hard to jungle right now, but maybe he'll pick that up at level 2. And he seems to be leeching a little bit of experience from mid lane.
Yeah, so this means Sand King will have a pretty easy time in the jungle here. Pretty Hall and the Ancient Apparition will just be stacking it up. And, of course, Morphling in complete free farm heaven in the lane, so XTT, he'll be off to one hell of a good start as well. Now, Yamate, he's actually the last hit leader on this Clinks. And it seems to me like Titan are going to hit this kind of mid-game stride, perhaps, before this Morphling really comes online, where they can start moving around. But with this Centaur having virtually no farm out of the gate, I worry about that mid-game stride as a team, and not just the Clinks getting an early Orchid.
They're possibly looking for an engagement here on mid lane. Centaur's coming in, does have a Hoof Stomp. They're going to need quite a bit of damage to bring down 1-2-1 here. They've got the Hoof Stomp to start things off. There is a double edge, just level 1 here. They want 1-2-1. The double edge should come. Here comes your first blood. KYXY gets the kill. Ohio maybe going to pay for this one with his life. He will go down, but Kaka was just half a second too late with that surge.
Yep, absolutely. So first blood coming out on pretty much the worst case scenario target for HGT. It was KYXY on the OD that got that bonus gold. So he's off to the races, just about to hit level 5 as well, and now Darkseer is going to lose some of those valuable intelligence points here. And OD just, well, off to the races, I guess, only way to say it.
Yeah, he's not, his farm nowhere near the Morphling and Clinks, but he's contesting with the Alchemist, and first blood basically gets him ahead as far as net worth goes. He's actually still behind the Clinks, but small things.
Well, based on CS, Alchemist is pretty far behind. 8-2 versus the 15-10 OD. Anytime he gets near the creep wave, we see him just put inside the Astral. He's using the Acid Spray pretty effectively to do constant damage to KYXY, but he's got a bottle out, and, well, he's just got plenty of sustain to deal with that small damage over time.
Well, we got an instant replay of our first blood here. Actually, no, we don't. There we go. They're going to show it. We got some of these cool WPC production features, and the surge, it comes in just like half a second too late, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then Centaur goes down in return. So we get back into the game here. Net was actually thinking about a flank coming in from behind here at the bottom tier 1 tower, but Kaka hiding himself, playing very defensively, and not going to get caught out.
Yeah, Darkseer working on that Soul Ring, but it's sort of disappointing to see that decision-making not at the right time. It's like a noble effort from Kaka, but he really needed to be there at least a second earlier if that was going to be his plan, to port in and try and save his teammate. So it's one of those. I guess he did technically get credit for that recovery kill. No, actually, Centaur died to the Alchemist, so
yeah, he
didn't even get that last hit.
He came from the. He actually came from the Dire jungle. He'd abandoned the bottom lane and was in the jungle, and then like ran his way mid lane. So
yeah,
he didn't actually have a TP scroll. So I don't think he did anything wrong there. I think it was just the Alchemist slightly underestimating the killing power of the OD plus Centaur.
Yeah, OD generally isn't that scary in the early levels before you get the first point in Orb, because obviously Astral and Essence Aura are a little bit more important to get things started. So you don't think of him as a hard hitter, but once he gets some of that insta-steal, it's
like
pretty scary. Yeah, Kaka gets glimpsed back, and he'll surge, but Shackles are right there on point. They'll right-click him down, and Disruptor will be the one to walk away with that kill.
Yeah, that's the Disruptor versus Darkseer, and this is where Darkseer is probably just going to say, well, I can't really lane bottom. If he ever gets hit by a Thunderstrike for vision, the glimpse back is always going to finish him off. Net's there waiting with a Shackles, so I don't know what the option is here as far as laning goes, but I don't think he's going to TP back bottom, but he's TPing into a trap. Ahayo's actually here with a flank here. This Centaur just roaming all over the map.
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to get another kill here? It looks like
they're going to sandwich the Ishka Fell. There's the Hoof Stomp to start things off. Double Edge Kinetic Field comes out. Surge ain't going to save you from that, Darkseer, and he'll fall once again. Back-to-back deaths, and this will also cost him their bottom tier 1 tower.
Yeah, and this is Yamate. He's rushing an Orchid here. Has the first Oblivion Staff already. With that tower, he's up to 850 gold. Wow. He is filthy rich.
He sure is. And all of a sudden, HGT, we had an even game on our hands, but now this Darkseer is, well, at least he's a hero that can make some kind of recovery in the jungle, but maybe not too easily. Sandstorm has been clearing it out a little bit. There was a huge stack at the hard camp, and that disappeared.
I saw that there, and it's no longer there. So.
Yeah, I have to imagine that was the work of ZSMJ. Yeah. So I don't know what this Darkseer does at this point. He just can't contest. He's only level 5, and well, they're going to try and pressure the top tier 1 tower. Maybe they can get it. I'm not sure if Titan want to try and contest this, or if they just want to let it fall to the Morphling, and actually a 4-man rotation from HGT up top.
I think if Titan get it, they're trading for farm in other lanes, and they may even like pressure this tier 1 mid. They can't get the tier 1 mid. They haven't really got the damage with just these 2 heroes, but losing a tier 1 tower to a 4-hero push is not really a big deal for Titan right now. And they're pressuring mid lane pretty hard. They'll throw out a double edge on the creep wave as well as a hoof stomp. And this will just allow them to at least get this tower down to maybe half HP or so. And they're actually TPing in the Disruptor as well, so they really want to try and get some good damage on this tower. And minus up on KYXY.
Yeah, interesting. Yikes. A greedy build from the OD, but I think warranted here. They can get away with it, and Morphling, one of these heroes, and one of the reasons he's a carry I don't like in this role is he just takes so much to come online. He basically needs a Linken's or a BKB, some sort of a defensive item, kind of like a Weaver, and then he starts working towards those hard-hitting items. Usually Linken's E-Blade is that more standard Morphling play, at least in the West. Is that what they do over here on the East as well? The Linken's first is still kind of the go-to. Yep, so I think it's a smart idea to get a Midas on the Outworld Devourer. One way to beat greed is, well, just to go all-out greedy yourself.
Alright, well, Hasterin going to spawn at the bottom 8-minute mark, and Extinct picks this one up. He's once again rotating in bottom lane. Kaka could be in all sorts of trouble. There's a glimpse for this one. They'll pull him back. Kinetic Field not going to actually come out. They're happy just to get this kill without it, and they don't even need it.
Oh, boy.
Throws down a wall for good measure, but that wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, this Disruptor just making his life hell, and his being the Darkseer here in this offlane. Nothing he can do about it. He surges away, he gets glimpsed back, and then they just have to wait him out. Once that surge is offline, then he ends up being an easy kill.
Titan are just crushing right now. They're winning 2 lanes heavily, and the center in the offlane, to me, he's had a huge impact. Even if he's lost his tower, he died to get the first blood at mid lane, but he got the first blood for his team. He helped set up another kill at bottom lane. He's level 5 already, so he's almost got Stampede online as well, so I actually really like the way Ahayo's played this game as Centaur.
Yeah, he'll stack up this hard camp here, or actually he'll miss the stack. That was unfortunate. Yeah, it looked pretty close, but he'll be close to level 6, and he's actually not that far off the blink, considering we're 9 minutes in. He's got about 900 gold in savings.
Yeah.
Not too shabby. He'll have a blink in a much more timely manner than I would have predicted based on how his lane started things off. He'll just hide in the trees here in the mid, perhaps looking for an opportunity to gank this Alchemist. But won't be quite so easy now that Chemical Rage is online, as well as the Phase Boots. Not the easiest target to pick off here at the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, and I feel like even this Centaur Blink coming around the 13 to 15-minute mark is perfectly fine. That'll fit Titan pretty well, actually, because by then Clinks will have an Orchid. So, well, he'll actually have it even sooner. But Ahaya can gank and get involved even without and before the Blink Dagger. We see them smoke up with the supports towards the mid lane. It looks like they want to go on this Alchemist. 1 OD Astral Imprisonment. It's the dead Alchemist. And, well, is he going to move forward? This is a maxed out Astral Imprisonment. We'll give them time to get close enough. The Shackles is there from net, and this is going to be a kill on Alchemist. 1-2-1 at the mid lane. Doesn't stand a chance. They get the kill, and they've got Serpent Wards to push down this T1 tower with now as well.
Yeah, good rotation, a nice easy kill, and as you mentioned, the Astral Imprisonment just makes for such an easy setup. Hex straight away after he comes out from that banished state. They'll throw down a Sentry Ward just in case there was a ward on the high ground, and well, there is a ward on the high ground except on the other side of the river, so a little bit of a missed ward there, but at least they know they're safe right in the middle of the lane, and I think they will try and make this into a push. The tower is pretty low. Yep, there are the Mass Serpent Wards. And that will be the 3rd tower kill of the game, 2nd one going the way of Titan. HGT opt to burn the glyph here. Perhaps they go in for a deny. But yeah, that's not happening against Serpent Wards.
Yeah, that was an unnecessary glyph use here. Yamate's on the hunt, though. He wants Kaka. Kaka's used the Surge here, but Yamate, with an Orchid and some Searing Arrows, is going to go in looking for this kill. I don't know if he can quite get it. Yeah, 1 or 2 more Searing Arrows. This is going to be close, not quite enough. Needed one more right click.
Yeah,
just managed to survive that.
A little bit unfortunate. Yamate, it almost seemed like he wasn't sure if he wanted to commit to it. He could have positioned himself a little further forward, but would have been right on the edge of the tower, so understood that he wanted to play it safe and not overcommit for just another kill on this already underfarmed Darkseer, but a close call. We'll see the Sand King continue to farm up these stacks here.
Yeah. This is hard to, I keep wanting to say hard to get to. HGT's plan for turning things around. It's going to come from ZSMJ with a Blink Dagger on Sand King. They basically sacrificed the Darkseer's farm. Even the Alchemist at mid has had no help from this Sand King, all to get this 11-minute Blink Dagger up. He's got Blink, but he doesn't even have Epicenter. Not to mention, his Burrow Strike's only level 2 since he got the 3rd point of Sandstorm.
Wow, that's one of those things where the Blink Dagger is great, but if you don't even have the ultimate, it's almost like you farmed too well. You know, you should have maybe ganked a lane, find some way to grab more experience, because Epicenter Blink this early on is devastating. Blink with only level 2 Burrow Strike, a little bit less scary, though as I say that, they'll gank on Yamate, and will they be able to finish off this Clinks easily? They'll have enough damage. 1-2-1, walks away with that kill under his belt.
That was, good thing they had the dust there, because Yamate scouted out their smoke. I thought he backed off as soon as he scouted out, and he almost managed to avoid getting dusted there, but the dust must have just clipped him on the edge, and they'll get a kill there. Try transition to a tier 1 tower here. That's a much needed kill. If that gank fails, at this point I'd say HGT are almost screwed.
Yeah, this is a 5-man rotation to pressure this tier 1 tower, but Rasta Wards come down at the tier 2 mid, and there's no glyph available. A fresh creep wave comes in, and they'll be able to do at least half damage at this tier 2. And I'm not even sure HGT will finish off this tier 1 tower. No, they'll be forced to port back. Great use of the Rasta Wards, and even though XTT will get a little bit of extra farm here as he picks off these wards, this tower taking some heavy damage here, gods.
Yeah, he's actually missing a lot of these ward slots here. That's big gold, and he's going to back off, so
yeah.
Some farm not actually obtained there from XTT, which I feel like he should have been able to get. Titan are poised to strike here. Ohio just a couple hundred short of his Blink Dagger, unfortunately. It looks like XTT knows something's up because he's playing very defensively here. Yamate shows himself. And with the Orchid, they can definitely look to set a kill on this Morphling if he's not careful.
Yeah, at the very least, put some heavy pressure on this tower. Clinks goes in, and he'll finish it off. That'll be the 2nd tower kill for NWP himself. That's the Blink Dagger now on the Centaur. And Yamate, well, he's got 1,300 in savings after the Orchid. So Titan are in great shape, and this mid-game stride is completely online now. We've even yet to see it really kick in. Once that Blink Dagger gets into the inventory of the Centaur, I imagine Titan will continue pressuring these towers and looking to take some fights. Even OD is just about to hit level 11. That means a level 2 Sanity's Eclipse. And of course, that first point, an Arcane Orb, and, well, also an Ultimate Orb sitting in the inventory. So he's starting to get a little bit more scary as well.
Yeah, he's farmed, and Titan just are cruising right now. Like, everything kind of going their way. Even like when they lose Yamate at bottom lane, it's like a small little loss to them, but as far as the actual general game strategy goes, Titan are getting objectives, pushing down towers, farming towards great mid to late game items, and that the same cannot be said for HGT. Sure, they've got a blink on Sand King, but the Morphling is actually picked up a Ghost Scepter, then went back for the Perseverance. So I guess changing his mind about whether he's going Ethereal Blade, whether he's going Linken's first, and it seems to be he will go for the Linken's first now that he's finished the Perseverance.
Yeah, now the top tier 1 tower falls, so that means Titan will pull ahead 4-2 in total tower count. They did end up losing their bottom tier 1 tower. Kind of in the fray there, but still in pretty good shape. I'm curious what OD is going to go for. Usually you see a mech or a Force Staff as his first item, just so he has some sort of a survivability tool, as he is rather weak in the early stages, but HGT really didn't put too much pressure his way. He got away with the brown boots into Midas, and now just straight into an ultimate orb. Usually you get punished a little bit harder and can't get away with that.
I think it's going to be a Hex Rush. Like,
yeah.
You don't want to rush a Linken's. That's not an OD build I've ever heard of. So
yeah.
I like the Force Staff so much because it actually gives you not just the defensive Force Staff, but also more killing potential because you can chase people as they run away from you and get more Arcane Orbs in. So I would have liked to see him get the Force Staff before the Hex, but hey, Hex straight up is definitely not going to hurt him.
Yeah, and the other great thing about the Force Staff, maybe even versus the mech, is that it is an int-based item, so that little regen can help you out in lane a little bit, and just the raw int, of course, is great on OD. Speaking of mech, it looks like HGT's 1-2-1 playing on the Alchemist will be going for a fast mech. He's got the headdress and buckler in the inventory, and about halfway to the recipe, but Titan with this 3-man smoke through the mid lane. They are hungry for blood gods, and they very well may find it up here in the top lane.
Oh, this Morphling has to be so careful. If he pokes it even just his nose out here, he's going to get caught out. And there's not just a blink on Centaur, there's a blink on Shadow Shaman, as well as the makings of what looks to be a Force Staff or maybe a Yule Scepter with a Staff of Wizardry. This is just a very, very rich Titan team. And Net, he's getting close here. He's going to spot the Morphling, sees him, doesn't get the Hex off. Stampede was even used, but XTT managed to get himself back into the trees. Serpent Wards will go down though, and Titan, they'll get themselves a tier 2 tower by the looks of things.
Yeah, good reaction time from the Morphling, and unfortunately probably won't be enough to keep this tower alive. Alchemist with a double damage rune. They may be looking to take a fight here. Ion Shell out.
Like, Sand King's actually gone 3-3-0 right now. Which
wow.
I guess he really wanted that extra point in Burrow Strike, but he needs to get this epicenter. I imagine he gets it now. Yeah.
Well, they will stop the tower from dying, which is more than I thought they'd be able to do here. But Titan not eager to take a fight. Maybe they even think the Sand King does have Epicenter online. He did now hit level 7, so we'll go ahead and grab it. Interesting Sand King build. I just wonder if that third point in Sandstorm is really worth it. Like, yeah, you get to farm the jungle faster, but he had this early blink and wasn't really able to make use of it because he didn't have Burrow Strike at a high enough level or Epicenter.
Yeah, no, it does get that blink dagger a bit faster. Like, he wouldn't have actually had the blink as fast as he did, but once you get the blink, all you're using it for is blink stun, not blink epicenter. And we've seen the blink actually, they wouldn't have killed the Clinks without the blink at bottom lane. That first smoke they did with blink dagger, it was very important they had it. So in that sense, they needed the blink stun more than the blink epicenter, at least early game. Now that pushes are coming, they need the blink epicenter, and they got it, even if it was a little slow.
Yeah, well, that's true. There will be a smoke here from HGT, but unfortunately for them, Titan will read it, and they'll all just port back to the other side of the map. So this will be a failed smoke gank from HGT, and actually a 4-man smoke as well. A lot of time wasted. And Titan will just retreat to their jungle and continue farming up here. A Cloak now out on the Centaur. Disruptor did actually complete his Force Staff. Clink's working towards a BKB with that Ogre Club. And it looks like Net will be grabbing a Force Staff as well on the Shadow Shaman. So a lot of positioning tools coming out for Titan. 2 Force Staffs and 2 Blinks already on the field.
And a completed Hex for OD. 18-minute Hex for KYXY.
On brown boots, no less. Yeah. That is a risky OD build, but I mean, he's 1-0-1 with 111 CS, so I mean, he wasn't punished. I mean, if you can get away with it, an 18-minute Hex is great.
Yeah, he's got a lot of solo killing potential. He does see XCT at top lane, who's not quite finished his Linken Sphere, so he is gankable, but ZSMJ was actually trying to bait him with the epicenter there from the side. But this is like your Net play. This is what Net loves doing in Sand King. Just hover around, camp a lot, try use your teammates as bait, and try get a good epicenter blink, or even just a blink into a Burrow Strike. Meanwhile, Clinks is hunting down the Darkseer in his own. That was not even using the Orchid, it looks like. That's unusual.
I mean, this Darkseer... Yeah, this Darkseer, he's been farming, but he's just got no items still. He's got a decent net worth, 2,500 golden savings, but he's still just on brown boots soul ring.
They've got KYXY.
Oh, yeah.
That's a nice little gank here. They'll use everything, including an epicenter, just to make sure they get the kill. Meanwhile, Klinks has actually found out, 1-2-1 in trouble. Alchemist pops the mech, going to keep himself alive a bit longer, but the double edge will finish him off. TP's in from HGT, not going to turn that around.
So it is a 1-for-1 across the map. The two mid heroes both take a spill, and I guess kind of a 2-for-1 if you count that Darkseer falling right before then. There will be a rotation from Titan down to this bottom tier 2 tower, and they'll clean it up. So that will push the tower count now 5-2 in their favor, and I think I saw a ping on Roshan. They may be considering here as they clear out this nice stacked Ancients. Looks like a triple stack, 2 Lizards, and a set of Granite Golems will go the way of Titan.
Yeah, this is a decent chunk of fun. This will get Yamate probably his BKB for Klinks, so he's going to be definitely a foe to be worried about with a BKB. He can just start playing even more aggressive than he already has. I don't think they can Rosh anymore. They got way too low from killing these Ancients. Yeah,
and they'll leave just a couple low health Ancients there, so it won't respawn. Smart choice, and they'll all just retreat back to safety. HGT will come in, and Alchemist will be a little bit disappointed here as he throws out an acid spray and sees only a couple of those Ancient creeps that they worked so hard to stack. And yeah, in terms of net worth, Titan are just in great shape with all those towers down. They've breached that 10,000 gold lead barrier and about a 3,000 experience lead here as well. They're two hard hitters, the Klinks as well as the OD. They're at the top of the chart, and even though HGT have a Morphling who's farming very well, the rest of their team is struggling quite a bit in terms of net worth. Even the Sand King, who's had a lot of farm priority, he's number 8 out of 10 on net worth overall, so still a little bit lackluster.
No, he farmed safely, but he didn't farm particularly fast. That's kind of like your jungle Sand King. Sure, it does get you that 8-9 minute blink, but beyond that, you're not getting too much. And now Titan have BKB on Klinks. Shadow Shaman gets another 4-star for the team, so they've got the 2 4-staffs up, and Titan are going to go for a smoke as well for themselves. They're going to look to rotate through their main jungle, bring down this last outer tier 2 tower. They probably shouldn't need to use the Serpent Wards. It's already sitting on just over 200 HP, and Hearts get together. I don't think they're ready to fight and defend. Lincoln Sphere maybe going to be up on Morphling, but that's just the Lincolns. There's no Ethereal Blade to go with it. Yeah,
this is one of these scary scenarios where Titan are on the cusp of either just knocking down a tier 2 tower that was about to fall anyway, or could potentially break high ground here. If HGT have someone too far forward, maybe if this Alchemist gets picked off, he's the mech carrier, they drop this tower and they save the Serpent Wards. This could be scary for HGT coming up in just a few moments. They need to be very careful about how they take this fight. The tower will just fall to the wrath of Klinks. They won't even show the rest of their team. And no, Titan won't force the issue. They'll just back out.
They can go Rosh here if they want to, or they may even just think, hey, let's pressure the high ground. Like taking Rosh is just kind of waste. Like they've got to wait for the Serpent Wards to probably cool down, because I think they need to use the Serpent Wards for Rosh. And if they want to pressure right now with this Hex, Treads is picked up by KOX. I mean, I feel like the Hex Rush in general, like, he hasn't even used the Hex yet. He could have just got the Treads, got the 4-stuff, and then gone back for it.
And there's the Ancient Apparition getting picked off by Klinks in the mid lane. His AA is actually level 8, has 4 points in the Chilling Touch, so even though he's only down for 25 seconds, this is that window of opportunity that I was talking about, where they can just plop down the Serpent Wards, force out the Glyph, and HGT should be able to hold the high ground, but that doesn't mean their tier 3 tower won't take huge damage. Down bottom, tier 2, taking some pressure from the Morphling as well as the Sand King. We see the Sand King once again trying to bait it out, hoping that KYXY will step too far forward. But OD, he's too smart for that. He'll stay behind the tower, pull the creep wave back. And, well, a case where the best defense is a good offense here for HGT, as it does pull back the forces of Titan.
Yeah, this is all I feel like they can really keep doing for now. Do you feel HGT have much of a shot to get back in this game, or is this just like just a bit futile for them?
It feels a little bit futile, but there's definitely still hope. With an Alchemist, I wanted to say farming away, but at level 11, only 1 point in Grievel's Greed, no Hand of Midas. His farm is really lackluster. He's at about half of what Klinks and OD are both at right now, only about 6,000 on the net worth chart, and we'll actually see NWP here get initiated on, but he'll burn the BKB. He'll just try and drop the Ancient Apparition, and he won't have enough damage for that. Just BKB TP's home, and he will survive. A little bit of a close call, but not too bad since he had to burn that first BKB charge. Anyhow, I want to think with an Alchemist, there's always room for recovery, but he's just so far behind with so few points in Grievel's Greed and no real farming tools. I worry a bit. Even if Morphling gets this E-Blade out, he's still a ways off, but will the shotgun be that devastating to Titan here? I don't know if I'm so confident.
Yeah, it's all in on the Morphling to win them teamfights and do damage, it feels like.
Yeah.
At the same time, teamfights are pretty strong for HGT. They've got a Darkseer who actually went for a Blink Dagger plus Ghost Scepter, so he had all that gold saved up, decided to go for a Blink, so Blink initiation from Darkseer, same for your Sand King. If AA can hit a nice ulti as well, I think HGT have a good team fight, but at the same time, it's like, well, Titan also have decent team fight. They've got Stampede, they've got Static Storm, they've got Centaur with an AoE stun, they've got OD with the ultimate, the Sanity's Eclipse, so both teams have the potential to win team fights. Titan, they've got the item advantage, and that's where their team fight's just that little bit scarier.
Yeah, and now Titan have a gem up in the inventory of that Shadow Shaman. We'll see them just moving around the map, clearing out wards. They do get vision control of the Roche Pit, but they don't seem particularly interested in actually moving in and pressuring that big creep. I think Titan will be well advised just to press forward and maybe even start trading these tier 2s if necessary to put some damage on these tier 3s. They're so tilted right now, and they have the Rasta wards. It seems like every time they want to press forward, HGT just start knocking on the front of their tier 2 towers, and they're pretty happy to retreat, but just as I say that, maybe they'll set up a gank down bottom here. There's the blink forward from the Shadow Shaman. Hex right away onto the Alchemist. Kinetic Field, Static Storm, and Stampede all burned just to bring down the Alchemist, but it seems like it may be worth it. Oh no, will he actually survive this? He burns the Serpent wards to finish him off as well.
He's not even going to finish him off, I don't think.
Oh,
he wants the gem. He can easily get out of this one, but he wanted to steal the gem. He'll get the gem. He'll TP out. And Titan, they're not going to get there to stop this one.
What a disaster.
Oh boy, that fight got turned around quickly. It was actually the Sand King's gem. Sand King lost it, got picked up by Shadow Shaman, I believe, then got recovered by the Alchemist. Actually, no, that's Net's gem. I think they traded gems.
Oh yeah, looks like it.
Actually, what happened to Sand King's gem? I'm not sure.
Where did it go? Is there one in the well?
They're both gems. HGT recovered both gems, so nicely played.
Yeah. So, just a complete disaster for Titan. Before that, I was going to say, while they're tilted, this is that time when you need to use the Rasta wards just to pressure the base. Even if it feeds a little bit of gold to HGT, there's a finite amount of damage these tier 3 towers can take. And if you can force out the glyph, of course, the Rasta wards have a much shorter cooldown. So, it's just a rinse and repeat. Press forward, force out the glyph. Okay. Wait for the Rasta wards, and then kind of do crippling damage, and by then you should be able to just about finish one of them off. We'll see the Clinks get scouted out by Sand King here. He gets Burrow struck. Ancient Apparition ult will not be on the mark, and Clinks will just finish off the replicate here and continue moving about the jungle. He has a haste rune on. Maybe he can pick up a kill here as he moves forward, finds the Ancient Apparition, and Pretty Ha in big trouble. BKB comes out.
Meanwhile, Static Storm, that looks like he'll kill off the Morphling here. Morphling getting caught out. Didn't have the strength morph up, and unfortunately can't start casting it once he's silenced. So.
Yeah, and that Ghost Scepter kind of a double-edged sword right there. It kept him alive from the right clicks, but that Static Storm took him down pretty darn quick.
Yeah. So HGT, they do a nice job of cutting around the Clinks, but the Morphling getting caught out there was a bit unfortunate for them. And now I think Titan will go towards the Roshan Pit. Serpent Ward's coming up in 2 seconds. Net on the high ground here. And I imagine we see these get dropped. Yeah, there we go. Into Roach they go. And HGT, they're smoking. They want to go for this one. Oh, Clinks actually scattered out the smoke.
Yeah, and it'll get revealed by the Centaur as well. Oh, this is such a big play right here. Ancient Apparition ult into the pit, but in comes Ohio. He connects with 2 with the Hoof Stomp. Ancient Apparition will actually finish off the Disruptor. And now this fight will break out. ZSMJ, he'll be the first to fall after the Disruptor already goes down. Vacuum in, but there's the Shackle coming out on Alchemist. And 1-2-1 could be in big trouble here. He'll get turned into a piggy. A couple of orbs coming from the OD, and they will clean this up. There's a blink forward from Net. That finishes off the Ancient Apparition. Now the Morphling has respawned, but Titan already taking this team fight by storm.
Well played by Net there. He got the blink disable off on the Sand King to prevent the Epicenter from casting. He was so important in that fight to make sure that Titan didn't get caught out by the strong, scary team fight of HGT. If that Epicenter lands with an Ice Blast, heroes will die, but Net got there just in time with the disable.
Yeah. Now, what's really scary is KYXY on that OD. He has himself a BKB, another 1,800 golden savings. He didn't even burn it in that fight. He just came up, threw a couple of right clicks, and Titan were basically able to take that by brute force. Great positioning from Ohio in the trees to not only break the smoke, but just find that keen initiation. He's now pretty darn close to a pipe as well here, Gods. Hooded Defiance and Headdress in the inventory already. Oh, wait, never mind. He had it. So, and another Staff of Wizardry. Probably another 4-staff coming out, but pipe is up, and that'll make things even more difficult for HGT in terms of defending their high ground.
Yeah, I think for HGT, they really... This Ethereal Blade is coming, but I don't think it's going to be enough, but it's at least going to give them a lot more damage output and killing potential in these next couple of engagements. And just 300 gold away, XDT. He's at top lane prowling around, and he's got a lot of backup here, but so did Titan. Only one hero missing at bottom lane. That's the Clinks. Clinks is actually hunting down the Alchemist. Alchemist, got to pop that mech. Maybe go for a TP out. Pops a chemical raid.
Meanwhile, up top, OD with a huge ultimate, just crushing them inside of that Static Storm kinetic field, and they'll just get cleaned up here in the top. That will be a 4-0. Holy Toledo. That's the combo of...
Yeah, I was watching the wrong lane
OD
for sure
and Disruptor.
Yeah. Clinks was going for that kill. Alchemist does TP out, but oh boy, that OD.
Yeah, he's just huge at this point. He's now level 18. That ultimate does a crippling amount of damage, and he's hard to bring down with a BKB and an Aegis. Oh boy, just a total disaster.
Yep. Blink Hex on the high ground here. 1-2-1 now. The only survivor of that team fight because he wasn't there. He's going to go down now. And Titan just broken the high ground now. HGT, it looks like they're possibly going to lose Rax here. Surfboards is online. Net hasn't actually dropped them now. He will finally do so. HGT have their Darkseer, Sand King, AA back alive. That's 3 big teamfight heroes. They'll try and find maybe a Blink Vacuum wall here. Vacuum is on, well, it's back up. Doesn't have the, he has just the level 1 wall of Replica though, and it looks like Raxus will take a fall. Sand King, Epis, and he's got the Iron Shell. Burrow strikes through, catches out 2 here. Here comes the Ice Blast, KYXY. Taking a lot of damage, but he's got the Aegis here, and Net's going to blink in with a disable. Brawl bring down pretty hard on the Ancient Apparition. Darkseer may be next. He's shackled up. Nothing to cancel this. Net is just locking Kaka in place. Kaka does finally get off the wall, but there's no vacuum to go with it. HGT have lost 4. They've lost Raxus, and they've lost game 1 of this best-of-2 series.
Yeah, an appropriate time to GG out. Not much they could do. Right before that fight, I was going to say, wow, this is a great time to take and engage. No Sanity's Eclipse, no Static Storm, and, well, still a bloody disaster in the end. And at that point, just way too underfarmed. 21-5 after 30 minutes of gameplay. Titan just really take the game by brute force. Pretty impressive play.
Yeah, Titan looked good. I mean, from start to finish. They had 1 or 2 like small moments where it looked like HGT maybe could turn things around, like the Blink Dagger on the Sand King set a kill hero there, but in general, like just looking at HGT had 5 kills the entire game. Like that was just a very big struggle there. Morphling with just the 1 assist, Darkseer with just the 1 assist. Both those 2 heroes, very low impact. And Titan, they get the job done in game 1.
Yeah, that Darkseer ended up being one of those picks that just kind of backfired on them. Titan did such a good job of recognizing that he was the weak one early on. Going for the early blink, not a bad idea, but it just made him so low impact early on. By the time he could finally start making plays with the Blink Dagger, it was kind of too late. The damage had been done. He'd already fed away just way too many kills, ending 0, 6, and 1. Yikes. Ouch. Yeah, yikes indeed.
And when you farm your Sand King that much and he ends the game 0-4-2, sure, like as soon as he got his blink, they kill off the Clinks, but after that, he was involved in 1 more kill the rest of the game. So.
Yeah, rather unfortunate. And part of the problem with Morphling, he never even got to finish his E-Blade there. He had about 3,000 gold in savings, but just a Ghost Scepter and a Lincoln's. And even though you're well on your way to being scary, that's still that window of time where Morphling is yet to really come online. And obviously, Titan had several heroes that were fully online with the Clinks that actually had a Scythe of Ice at the end of that game. Is that right or no? That was there's 2. There was one in the inventory of the Clinks as well. That's how farmed that Clinks was. Orchid BKB and was able to grab a Hex Stick before that game even ended. Yeah, pretty ridiculous.
Alrighty, well that does it for game 1, guys. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's time for game 2 of Hearts Get Together? No. Hyper Glory Team up against Team Titan. Stay tuned. More WPC Dota action coming your way.